everyone, and welcome back to Lingua Wave Podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to share some very useful sentences, expressions, and vocabulary that we commonly use when visiting the pharmacy.
And I'll also help explain what a pharmacy actually is, especially if you've never heard this word before.
So stick with us until the end.
And without further ado, let's get started.
A pharmacy is a place you go to when you need medication. Another common word for pharmacy is drugstore.
So you can say either pharmacy or drugstore. They mean the same thing.
Usually, you go to the pharmacy after visiting the doctor to pick up your medication.
So why do people go to the pharmacy?
You go there to get medication or drugs. These words are often used for the same thing.
You may have heard the word drug before and thought, wait, isn't that something bad? But in English, the word drugs actually has two meanings.
One meaning refers to illegal drugs, things that break the law. For example, heroin or cocaine are illegal drugs. But in a pharmacy, you don't buy illegal drugs. They don't sell those kinds of drugs there.
Instead, pharmacies sell prescription drugs.
A prescription drug is another word for medication. It's medicine that a doctor gives you to help treat a health problem.
To get a prescription, you first need to see a doctor. The doctor tells you which medication to take, and that information is written on a prescription.
You then take that prescription to the pharmacy.
Pharmacies also sell over-the-counter medications. These are different from prescription drugs.
With prescription drugs, a doctor must approve them. But over-the-counter medications don't require a prescription. For example, if you have a headache, you can buy Tylenol without seeing a doctor. That's an over-the-counter drug.
So now we know what a pharmacy is and why people go there. Let's talk about who works in a pharmacy.
You'll often meet a pharmacist. A pharmacist is a trained expert in medications. They complete many years of education, and they usually work behind the counter.
You may also see a pharmacy assistant or clerk. They help the pharmacist and are often the first person you speak to. When you arrive, you give your prescription to the assistant. The pharmacist then prepares your medication.
Now let's look at some important words and steps you'll hear at the pharmacy. After visiting the doctor, you go to the pharmacy with your prescription. You'll often see signs that say drop-off and pick-up.
First, you go to the drop-off counter. That's where you give your prescription to the staff. Then you wait while the medication is prepared.
When it's ready, you go to the pick-up counter. So there are 3 steps: drop-off, wait, and pick up.
It sounds simple, but it can be confusing the first time.
Now let's talk about 2 important words that can help you save money. Those words are brand and generic.
Brand name drugs are usually more expensive. They spend a lot of money on advertising.
Generic drugs are cheaper. They contain the same medicine but have a different or unknown name. That's why it's a good idea to ask, is there a generic version? This question can save you a lot of money.
Now let's look at some useful expressions. At the pharmacy, you might say, I'd like to fill my prescription. Or, can I speak to a pharmacist, please?
You may want to ask about side effects. Side effects are unwanted effects of medication. Medication can help you, but it can also cause problems like tiredness. So asking about side effects is very important.
At the pickup counter, you'll usually pay. They might ask, do you have insurance? If you do, you provide your insurance information. If not, you can say, I'll pay out of pocket.
The pharmacist will also explain the dosage. Dosage means how much and how often you take the medication. You might need to take pills or tablets. Those words usually mean the same thing.
Or the medication could be liquid. You may see measurements like teaspoons or drops. If you're unsure, always ask the pharmacist. They'll be happy to explain.
You'll also receive instructions. These instructions may be on the label. For example, do not exceed 5 tablets per day. That means don't take more than that amount.
You may also hear take on an empty stomach, or the opposite, take with food. Some medications shouldn't be taken with milk, others must be refrigerated. Pharmacies can be confusing, even for native speakers. That's why it's important to ask questions.
You can say, "Could you repeat that, please?" Or confirm what you heard to be sure. Because medication can be dangerous if taken incorrectly.
So today we covered many useful words and expressions.
I hope you now feel more confident going to the pharmacy.
Understanding these terms will help you communicate better.
Thank you for listening. And if you find this episode helpful, please hit that subscribe button.
Thanks for listening. See you next time.
Goodbye, everyone.